All right, well, hello, this is Mrs. Robertson, and today in my Math 7 class, our bell work is a little more challenging than what we've had in the past. We are doing multi-step inequalities. I know I have a couple guests in here, and you will be doing one-step inequalities tomorrow in your Math 6 class. In Math 7, we are doing multi-step inequalities. So some of the things that I'm talking about to our guests today, you might sound familiar to you for tomorrow. So it starts off on our bell work worksheet, which is, if you don't have one, it is located in our Google Classroom. It says solve the inequality. Here this says 3 times x, divide both sides by -3. Remember, when you multiply or divide both sides by a negative number, your inequality sign flips. X is greater than or equal to 8. Close circle on the 8 going to the right. Now on your graphs, I only require you to do 3 numbers. Are there any questions? I'm going to do the next couple rather quickly. -3, -3. Here you are subtracting with integers, so you add the opposite. X is greater than -13. Open circle on the -13 going to the right. In number 3, -2, -2. Here you will add the opposite. -7 plus -2 is -9. You have 3 times p is greater than or equal to -9. Divide both sides by a +3. P is greater than or equal to -3. Close circle on the -3 going to the right. So that's -4, -2. Any questions on 1, 2, and 3? In 4, 5, and 6. In number 4, we have to combine our like terms. So get rid of your subtraction sign. 7s plus -4s is 3s. Plus 5 is less than 14. On your test, that is worth a point. So there's a point. How do you get rid of a plus 5? You subtract 5. That is worth a point. You have to show -5, -5. Draw your line and cancel. You now have 3s is less than 9. That is worth a point. How do you get rid of multiplying by 3? Divide both sides by 3. That is worth a point. S is less than 3. That is worth a point. Then you graph it. Open circle on the 3. That is worth a point going to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is worth 7 points. Are there any questions on how I got 7 points for that problem? Okay. In number 5, you have to do the distributive property. 2 times 3m is 6m. Oh, get rid of your subtraction sign, add the opposite, and 2 times -6 is -12. Is less than or equal to 12. To get rid of a -12, you add 12 to both sides. Make sure you have that step. Then bring down 6 times m is less than or equal to 24. Then divide both sides by a +6. And you get m is less than or equal to 4. Circle your answer and graph it. Close circle on the on the 4 going to the left. Any questions? Everybody's doing okay? You got these? You know how to do them? Got all your steps? Great. Okay, in number 6, add the opposite. So you can get rid of the 7. How do you get rid of a 7? You minus a 7. And now you have -r times r divided by 4 is less than or equal to 10. Now kids, we want to make that a positive r. So we are going to multiply both sides by a -4. Because negative times negative makes that a positive r, and that also cancels out that 4. And -4 times 10 is -40. Well, and then you have to remember to flip your inequality sign because you are multiplying both sides of the inequality by a negative number, so your inequality sign flips. And you end up with a closed circle on your negative 40 going to the right. Any questions? Are we ready for number 7? In number 7, this is an easy one. To undo multiplying by a negative 2, you divide by drawing the bar. Don't use a division symbol with the dot dots. No, this is algebra. You divide with the bar, divide both sides by negative 2. Since we're dividing by a negative number, you flip your inequality sign. X is greater than a positive 9. Negative 18 divided by negative 2 is a positive 9. Any questions? And when you graph it, open circle going to the right. Number 8. Get rid of your subtraction sign, add the opposite. Now we're going to get rid of 25, subtract 25 from both sides. Negative 3x is greater than or equal to 21. Divide both sides by negative 3. Flip your inequality sign. X is less than or equal to negative 7. Close circle on negative 7 going to the left. Everyone okay? All right, let's go on to number 9. Add 10. You now have negative 4x is greater than 16. Divide each side by negative 4. X is less than negative 4 because since you divided by a negative number, your inequality sign flips. Any questions? And you will open circle on negative 4 going on the left. Any questions on that? Are we ready? Are we ready for the last row now? Okay, here we go. In number 10, we're going to combine like terms. First, we're going to add the opposite. 2x plus negative 9x is negative 7x plus 11 is less than or equal to negative 3. Any questions on how I got that? Subtract 11. Negative 3 minus 11, add the opposite. Negative 3 plus negative 11 is negative 14. So now you have negative 7x is less than or equal to negative 14. Divide both sides by negative 7 and flip your inequality sign. X is greater than or equal to 2. Any questions? Close circle on the 2 going to the right. Number 11. In number 11, we have the distributive property. Here, 4 visits the x. 4 times x is 4x. And 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Okay? Plus 6 is greater than negative 14. This is an 8-point problem, kids. So you get 1 point for doing the distributive property, another point for combining terms. Negative 4 plus 6 is 2. So you have 4x plus 2 is greater than negative 14. Subtract 2. When you subtract 2, you add the opposite. Negative 14 plus negative 2 is negative 16. So you have 4x is greater than negative 16. Divide both sides by 4. X is greater than negative 4. Any questions? Now we graph it. Open circle on the negative 4 going to the right. Any questions? Okay, in number 12, you're going to add 5 to both sides. That's worth a point. X divided by 4 is greater than or equal to negative 2. To undo dividing by 4, you multiply both sides by 4. X is greater than or equal to negative 8. Close circle on the negative 8, arrow going to the right. Are there any questions? Okay, now part of your homework for tonight is to do all of these problems on the back. Okay? So work on these. I'm going to be giving you your notes for today on word problems. And I'm going to walk around and see if you got everything copied down on the front the correct way. So I'm going to ask when I pass the note, I'm going to say turn your paper around so I can see if you did everything correctly or if you need help. All right, so there we have it. That's what it should look like. And I'm going to walk around and look at your paper when I pass out our packet. All right. So now we are going to look at our notes for how to write inequality problems. You have to be very careful on these. If you are stuck, just pretend it says equal to it. And then at the end, you can put the correct inequality sign in, okay? So if you're having problems, you can do it that way. So let's go through an example 1. Sunday's high temperature of 72 degrees was at least 40 degrees higher than Monday's temperature. What was Monday's temperature? Okay, first I'm going to define a variable. M equals Monday's high temperature. HT is high temperature, okay? So I know that Monday's high temperature plus 40 is going to be at least 72 degrees. Okay, so it's going to be warmer or equal to 72 degrees. Do you see how I got that? Now we have to solve the inequality. Minus 40, draw your line and cancel. Monday's temperature is greater than or equal to 32 degrees. Now, on your last test, I did not take off if you didn't label. If it says you get a point for labeling your answer, this test I will take off a point if you don't label your answer. Do you understand? Okay, I just want you to be aware of that. I will be grading a little more strict on this test on Friday. Everyone good with this one? Thumbs up? Okay, let's go to the next one. This one says, Clark scored at least 12 more points than Josh. Josh scored 15 points. How many points did Clark score? Okay, well, I'm going to say this one is just, if you do, well, 15 plus 12 is less than or equal to Clark's score. C. I should have defined my variable. C equals Clark's score. You could have said Clark's score is going to be greater than or equal to 15 plus 12. Do you see how I got that? Go back and read it. I always have to read these about 3 times. Clark scored at least, so did he score 27 when I add them? So Clark scored at least 27 points. Let's go back and double check. 12 more than Josh scored. Josh scored 15. How many points did Clark score? 15 plus 12 is 27. He scored at least 27 points. Any questions on that one? In problem number 3, it cost the Smiths $517 to raise watermelons. How many watermelons must they sell at $5 a piece to make a profit? Now, to make a profit, they have to make more than $517, okay? If you make $517, that's called breaking even. You've not made a profit, you just haven't lost any money. All right, so let's see how many watermelons they need to sell to at least make something. So, we know how much are they selling their watermelons? $5 a piece. So W equals watermelons. So 5 times your watermelons has to be greater than, not equal to, greater than 517. Do you understand why it has to be greater than? Okay, you got to make money. Now, to solve this equation, or inequality, divide both sides by 5. W has to be greater than, well, 517 divided by 5 bring down the 7, 3. Okay, it's got to be greater than, if he sells 100, it's got to be greater than 103. Okay, now, if you sell 104, he'll make money because 104 times 5 is going to be bigger than 517. So 520. So he has to sell more than 103 watermelons and put watermelons. Okay? Any questions on that? When they're word problems, sometimes your answers are a little bit different because it might not be exact. They don't sell a part. Well, sometimes they sell parts of watermelon in the grocery store, but then they're really expensive because they'll charge you more for a half of a watermelon than a whole, if you took a whole and divided it by 2, so it wouldn't be, the exact same. Example 4. Tammy is going to a family reunion 350 miles away. She plans to now this makes, I think they made a mistake in the writing of it. She plans to travel faster than 70 miles per hour, which is against the law the whole way. Unless she has, maybe she's got, traveling through the air, I don't know. What is the least amount of time it will take her to get there? Well, we're going to do it the way that it's said here, and then I'm going to show you, I think it should have said no faster than 70 miles per hour. So this one was confusing. So when it's too confusing, you just put an equal sign. Well, 70 miles per hour times, let's say H equals hours. 70 times hours, we're going to say equals 350 because it's confusing by the wording. Okay? So, you divide both sides by 70, and H equals 5 hours. Now, if she is going faster than 70 miles per hour, that is it, then H is going to be less than 5. It says she plans to travel faster. So H is going to be less than 5 hours. This is where I put my inequality sign in, all right? I was confused at first, so I used an equal sign, but since I have to write an inequality, that's what it is. Now, since she's going faster, it's going to be less than. H is less than 5 hours. Do you see how to do that? Okay. Now let's go to the next page. We have, I think, 3 more examples. All right. The 83 members of the middle school band are trying to raise at least $5,000 to buy new percussion instruments. They have already raised $850. How much should each student raise on average to meet the goal? Okay, I have to define a variable. I'm going to use X this time equals band members. So, how many band members are there? 83. So, 83 X, you know what? X doesn't equal band members. X equals the money band members need to raise. Okay? It equals money per band member. So 83 times X plus, we already have 850, equals $5,000. Not equals, it has to be that or over. Their goal is 5,000, but we want it can be over 5,000, can't it? So everyone see your inequality sign? Now the next step, minus 850 minus 850. Draw your line and cancel. Bring down your inequality sign. 83 times x, or the amount each person needs to read, is going to be greater than or equal to 4,150 total dollars. Well, let's divide that by 83. And 4,150 divided by 83, 5 times 5, carry 1. Oh, perfect. Is it $5? No, it is $50. So X is greater than or equal to $50. So each person in the band needs to raise $50. Put your dollar sign in there to make sure we cover the label. Any questions? Number 6. Manny needs to buy 5 work shirts. Oh, put a star by this one because this is tricky. That are each the same price. After he uses a $20 gift certificate, he can spend no more than $50. What is the maximum amount that each shirt can cost? Well, how many shirts does he want to buy? 5. So I'm going to say X equals shirts. How many shirts does he want? 5 times X. We're going to put equals for right now, and then we'll put our inequality sign in later. Now, how much can he spend on these shirts? Yes. $70. The $50 plus the $20 gift certificate is $70. Do you see how I got that? Gift certificates are tricky, okay? That's still part of the price. So, 5 times X equals $70. Do you see that? Then divide both sides by 5. X equals $14. Now it's not going to be equals. Let's go back and see. What is the maximum amount that each shirt can be? It can be $14 or less. Okay? So it can be $14. So X is less than or equal to 14. Does it make it easier for you if you start with an equal sign and then at the end put in your inequality sign?
No.
It doesn't matter however you want to do it. If you, like on the easy ones, it's always sometimes obvious. Oh, I put in my greater than equal to sign. Sometimes if it's hard and you don't know what to do, just put in an equal sign and then at the end, it'll make more sense to you. All right, now let's go to example 7. Joe has $5. Bagels cost 65 cents each, and a small container of cream cheese is $1. What is the greatest number of bagels Joe can buy if he also buys 1 small container of cream cheese? Okay, B equals number of bagels. If you put B equals bagels, I'll count that right on your test. So, how much are bagels? 65 cents each. So, 0.65 times B plus the cream cheese for $1 has to be less than or equal to $5. Everyone see how I got that? Now, to get rid of a plus 1, we minus 1. Draw your line. Now you have 65 cents times B has to be less than or equal to 4. So let's see how many bagels can this person get. divide by 65 cents, divide by 65 cents, 4 divided by 65 cents. Move it to, move it to. Now, how many 65s are in a 400? 6. 6 times 6 is 36. So yeah, let's try 6. 6 times 5 is 30. Put down a 0, carry a 3. 6 times 6 is 36, plus 3 is 39. So we subtract, and we get a 10. You could add a 0. How many? There's only one, so you get 6.1 bagels. So you can't get a part of a bagel, can you? So the answer is he can get 6 or less bagels. B is less than or equal to 6. Okay, 6 bagels. Any questions? All right, so this is what I want you to do tonight. I want you to do all of these problems 1 to 8. There are 8 word problems. Do all 8 word problems. Then let's go back to the bell work, and I want you to do the back side of your bell work paper. And that has problems 13 to 24. So back of the bell work, do all of those 13 to 24. Any questions? All right, that is it. That's a wrap. Closing the video.